Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Welcome back to The News on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. 2 Savannah residents are now without a home after an overnight house fire in the city. Savannah Fire says their crews were dispatched just before midnight last night to a house fire on Lorraine Court. Firefighters saw smoke from the roof when they first arrived. The fire was put out in just about 20 minutes. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but again, 2 residents have been displaced. Well, happening now in Long County as we take a live look right now at the Long County Commissioner meeting. Commissioners are making a vote or a decision on a potential tax increase. This is the third and final public hearing on the proposed tax increase. It's being held right now at the Long County Board of Education building. Again, this is a live look right now. It started at 9 o'clock. We heard a little bit of public testimony. We've seen a couple of other public figures go up, present budgets and different proposals. County leaders are considering a millage rate that would raise property taxes by nearly 21%. So a house valued at $100,000 would be taxed nearly $130, and a $200,000 house taxed at nearly $260 if the increase is approved. After this morning's meeting, commissioners will then meet to set the final millage rate. We do have crews monitoring this right now. Our Madeline Bierster will have the latest. As actually we can see they're going right now into executive session, likely to make a final decision. Our Madeline Bierster will have those updates this afternoon on WTOC. You can always check our website, of course. We will post that decision once it is made. Also happening today, a special election over a zoning ordinance that could impact Sapelo Island in McIntosh County. It's about bigger houses being built in the Hog Hammock community. Now, you may recall, county leaders changed the zoning rules for it, and Gullah Geechee people are concerned the change would price them out of their homes, impacting its history. They gained enough signatures to force a countywide vote for a referendum to throw out the new rule. All polls are open today until 7 p.m. Well, looking ahead, there are some big changes you might need to know for this year's tax season as we are just a couple days out. You should be getting your forms essentially in your mail. I just got an email saying that my form from the company I used to work at just arrived in my mailbox today, so I've got something exciting to look forward to when I get home. But looking at what's changed this tax season, there are some higher standardized deductions now for single filers. It's gone up $750. And it's now $31,500 for married couples filing jointly. Another change, there's also a cap on how much you can pay in state and local taxes, depending on your adjusted gross income.
The old law was a $10,000 cap. Now you can get anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000 in 2025.
Eligible workers who depend on tips can now deduct up to $25,000 from their taxable income as well. Happening today, Governor Brian Kemp will announce another initiative to improve access to education for Georgians. The governor is expected to give more details on a new education tax credit partnership between the state of Georgia and the IRS. Today's expected announcement will come less than a week after the governor's final State of the State address, where he mentioned a strong focus on education. And new bills being proposed at the Georgia Capitol could change how your kids learn. From vape detectors to gun safety measures to banning phones, there are many different things lawmakers might take action on this session. Abby Kasouris shares what parents have to say when it comes to these proposed bills.
Parents are weighing in as new school safety bills hit the Capitol. Everything from vaping to gun safety to cell phones. They're asking the question, will this protect kids?
For Carmen Beltran, the debate over cell phones isn't theoretical. It's happening in her 9th grader's classroom, and even he admits phones can get in the way of learning.
If you want to pay attention in class, yeah, you shouldn't have your phone.
After banning phones for younger students, State Representative Scott Hilton now wants to expand that policy into Georgia's high schools.
We're hearing it's just a distraction to learning, which is why we send our kids to school. Not only learning, though, it's mental health, it's public safety.
Samantha Halliburton's daughter, Omni, is years away from high school, but one proposal already has her attention. A bill that would require firearm safety education in Georgia classrooms starting in kindergarten, teaching children what to do if they encounter a gun. Halliburton says she wants to be a part of that conversation.
Overall, yes, if parents could opt out for it, that would be amazing.
According to the Center for Disease Control, firearms are the leading cause of death for children and teens ages 1 to 17 in Georgia. The bill's sponsor, State Senator Rick Williams, has worked in the funeral home business for 53 years. He says one of the hardest parts is meeting families who've lost a child in an accidental shooting.
As you see a gun, you do not touch it. You go get an adult.
Another bill parents are watching would require vape detectors in Georgia high schools. A University of Georgia survey found 1 in 5 high school students has used a vaping product.
The kids are vaping in school. They're going to the bathrooms. It's becoming an epidemic.
The detector sends aerosol particles tied to nicotine or THC and alerts staff in real time. Funding could come from grants or the state's budget.
I think the detectors are a great idea.
Parents say they'll be watching closely. They want safer schools, but also want a say in how that happens. There'll be chances for people to weigh in when those bills are read before a committee. At the state capitol, I'm Abby Kasouris.
Turning now to health news, flu season's here, and health experts say another uptick in flu cases could be right around the corner. And now the CDC is putting children among the groups at the highest risk of getting the flu. This comes as flu-related deaths among children hits 32 so far this season. The CDC says 90% of those kids were not fully vaccinated, and hospitalizations among children have reached a 15-year high. Dr. Frank Esper with the Cleveland Clinic says the best protection for children 6 months and older is to get the flu shot.
Children, especially under the age of 2, they're pretty small. And when they're still small, you get something that's just so inflammatory, like influenza. When it gets into your lungs, it causes a lot of inflammation.
He also recommends washing hands often, using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, and wearing masks if anyone in your house has cold symptoms. Turning now to sports news, 16-0 and national champions Indiana University, a program you may have thought never would have gotten there, just did it last night. In his second season, Curt Cignetti turned around one of college football's most historically struggling programs. The Hoosiers went from perennial underachievers to undefeated Big Ten champs, then stormed through the expanded playoff to claim the first national title in school history. They beat Miami last night 27-21 in an absolute thriller. Fernando Mendoza had an incredible 4th and 5 run in the red zone, dove into the end zone, took 2 shots. Great Heisman moment for the quarterback. And here's what Coach Cignetti had to say after the confetti fell.
We're 16-0. 16. National champions at Indiana University, which I know a lot of people thought was never possible. It probably is one of the greatest sports stories of all time, but it's all because of these guys and the staff. So proud of them, and it's a great night.
From doubted to undefeated champions, Indiana's miracle season ends with a trophy and a legacy. Have a ball, Bloomington. Now, really incredible what Cignetti's been able to do in just 2 years. Indiana was the losingest program of all time in FBS, and in his tenure, they've won 3 bowl games in the last 3 weeks. That's as many as they had won since 1899. Won their first Rose Bowl in program, steamrolled Alabama in the playoffs, and capped it off with a national champion. A whole lot of accolades for this program, which of course has really always been known for basketball, but that's certainly changing under Coach Cignetti. All right, well, this is pretty cool. An extremely rare whale spawning happened near Hilton Head Island this past week. A local fisherman spotted not 1, but 2 North Atlantic right whales along with their calves. Ryan Brogan says he was on his way to catch some fish last Friday when he saw something he had never seen in the water before. He saw what he described as one of their flippers in the air, almost as if it was waving to them. He stopped to capture the moment. Then he says another one was coming up in the distance. He sent this video to NOAA a couple of days later, who identified the whales as champagne and Yucca.
When I spoke with the gentleman at NOAA, he told me I should buy a lottery ticket because to see two mothers with calves that close together was almost unheard of. I just think it was an extremely lucky chance, and one of those things that happens maybe once in a lifetime, and really took it in and just absorbed the moment. It was terrific.
The tracking data for the whales is available online, and we do have the link on our website, WTOC.com. Just look for the story on our website if you want to check the journeys of champagne or Yucca or any of the other Atlantic right whales who have migrated down here to the coast for the winter. All right, and with that, we are going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. Appreciate y'all spending part of your morning with us. We'll be back in just about 45 minutes for another round of stories during the news at noon. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to catch the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.